Hello everyone, I'm James, Community Manager at wellb, and I'm here with Jeanny Tsai today, and we're doing our live program with you. Jeanny is an intuitive healer, and she is with Soul Star Alchemy, and she's going to talk about her journey into understanding and sharing intuitive healing with whoever is interested in that. And I'll hand it over to Jeanny now to describe herself and share about what she's doing.
Hi everyone. General?
Yeah.
So yes, I am an intuitive coach and healer, and how I got to this place was I was searching for my own healing, and I would say I've been on this path for a little over 20 years, and always had a belief in something more than what we could see physically in this world. I was very interested in spirituality. I was interested in reading spiritual books, and I would say I was interested in all that even as a kid, but it wasn't until really my early 20s, after my mom passed away, I kind of had this question, well, is this all there is? Is there something else? And I was sort of seeking answers to life's questions. And I think my first really personal encounter with what I would call something esoteric was in a yoga class. I started taking yoga about 20 years ago, and I went into a meditation in yoga from the prompt of the teacher, and we were oming, and I started to see like indigo lights, and I know that sounds kind of funny, but that kind of prompted me to think like, oh, that's interesting. And then I started finding out about things like chakras. A lot of us know what that is, and so that was sort of like the very beginning. And then I just started becoming more and more interested in healing my own self, my own. We're all carrying wounds. My own wounding from life, and just kept meeting different teachers. And that would be the short version of how I got to where I am today with everything.
So you mentioned, of course I'm going to hear about the indigo lights and the chakras, right? So for people, like what is that experience though? Like, can you describe that a little bit more, or what, just in general, like what that is for a person and our system? Like,
well, I'm not going to go through all the chakras, really, but I guess my whole point in kind of bringing that up, or my own experience of that, is that there's energy in the world that a lot of us cannot see with our naked eye. A lot of the great masters talk about only 10% of the world is manifest that we can see, and the rest is in the invisible world. So what I've worked with, and what I continue to work with, is working with the invisible world, which it's funny to call that because it's actually visible. You just have to have a different developed sight to be able to see that. And so that sight helps you see things that are affecting your physical body perhaps, or even something in your emotional life, or something in your family lineage, or even something behind an illness. So it may sound a bit odd, but in healing, especially people who are intuitive healers, that's just sort of like normal to be able to see these things, or it's part of your training, or it's maybe part of a gift that you've already had to be able to see and diagnose, for example, or see something and understand what it means, or so to someone who hasn't experienced that might seem like really out there, or not true, but my whole point is that it does exist, and it is very much part of our world, and so the chakras are real too. It's just that we can't necessarily see them with our naked eye, for example.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm a nutrition counselor, health counselor. So nutrition is the basis. It's a physical component, right, of healing, or of that you can coach somebody with health goals. So and just like a personal training or physical training, right, fitness, it's of the physical plane. and then there's an emotional, and then there's layers.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of people, they do start with healing on that physical layer of like, oh, how can I improve my diet, or what kind of exercise you do. But then I've noticed that a very interesting component with both those things is noticing those other layers of emotion, right? Like emotional eating, or even cognition. You know, like in the gym, a lot of trainers say that only a certain percentage is the work that you actually do, and then the other percent is your mind, like holding yourself back from what your body is capable of doing. So even with things that seem like they have a very physical grounding, there's other layers to that type of healing and that type of goal setting. So I think when you talk about the chakras and coming from that direction, it does seem a little bit out there, or like you said, invisible, but it's just another layer from those things. So we already have some understanding of it in regards to health concerns like that.
Mm-hmm.
But so is there a way that you could frame it in terms of that as well? Like, are there like physical pinnings, or how do you find that type of invisible energy manifests on a more physical plane?
Yeah, sure. So a lot of times imbalances, happen on a more subtle level, and then they become manifest in the body. So think about, let's say, like emotional stress. That could actually cause illness at some point if you're having repetitive, like negative feelings or thoughts. It's not something you could see in your body, but, at some point later it can develop into like a mass, for example, or a stomach ache. Have you ever had this, where you're not really expressing your emotions, perhaps, and then you feel like, oh, my stomach's just really hurting, I don't know what it is. Like you begin to somatize it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely something that would start from the subtle, into the gross. Many times in healing, myself and I'm sure other healers can also actually see the origin of something that's not in the physical body, but it's in another dimension, if you will. It's in this dimension, but again, some people can't see that with their naked eye. It takes like a certain sight to see that. But sometimes imbalances are in the subtle body, and then if they're balanced or cleansed, health will return. So it's a little bit of everything. We do need to have a healthy physical body to have a healthy spirit and healthy emotional system. If one thing's out of balance, it puts everything else in balance, out of balance rather. So I would say they're all equally important. I also work with people in their physical body, and I think it's important to take care of our physical bodies and not just be meditating or being praying or being spiritual. Everything what that means. It's really important to take care of ourselves in all ways. I don't know if that answers your question.
No, it definitely does. Yeah, and I'm thinking once again from the lens of a health counselor that more or less deals with these more tangible type of goals. But like you said, having a healthy body, whether it's through nutrition and fitness or whatever you can do to maximize your physical health, I would imagine that makes it easier to access these other dimensions or these other realms in terms of exploring further healing through that. Do you find that when you work with people that they are in a healthy physical state, or are they something usually off?
Well, let's see. You could have, really good general health, but have like slight imbalances, for example, or, everyone has something, there's no such thing as perfect. We're always shifting. That's the other thing, depending on what we're thinking, what we're eating, how much we slept. So, it's not necessarily that, one that comes to me has like a serious health problem, but maybe someone will say like, can you just check it out? I don't know, I've been having this like, lower back pain, or I don't know what this is, or my stomach's been hurting. So I think at any given point, we can all manifest some kind of, I just call them imbalances,
Yeah.
And you want to just keep in check with your physical body that the imbalances don't become too extreme, because then that becomes disease. Does that make sense? So it's like by the time you even notice something, pretty prominently, it already had its root somewhere else, and it's now manifesting more in the physical body. So But yeah, I would say I see a lot of healthy people. A lot of people come to me not necessarily for health issues, but then they're like, hey, while we're working together, can you check something? Or it might be a combination of stuff. You know, yeah, everyone has, you know, something. You know, even if you're healthy, you can have like a little bit of a backache, or you can, you know, have your, you know, one of your vertebrae out of alignment. We all have, you know, just a little bit of something here and there. But yeah, you know, you can generally have even great health and have little things here and there.
Yeah. Well, like you said, the word imbalance or alignment, right? We're always trying to find the balance for us, ourselves, as well as realigning. So there's some ways to realign on the physical plane, but then people get that realignment, and then they're just like, oh, I don't need to do anything else, right? I feel good, right? My diet's good, I'm doing everything that I set my goals to do, but then that's a great space to explore something further, right? So I'm sure you get clients like that too, that come there, they've reached some type of homeostasis, but then they're curious about something else. And so that's, I guess we could delve into the intuitive word. You're an intuitive healer. I love the word intuition and intuitive, and trying to bring that to my clients as well. You know, once you work with somebody, you can kind of start sensing what, like a piece of their puzzle or a piece of their wholeness that they might be worth exploring. So is that something that you do with people? Do you read that easily when you work with others?
Yeah, so basically someone comes to me and I open up the space of working together. They'll start talking to me and I'll actually see the root of their issue, or I'll see their real question. Sometimes people beat around the bush and they're like, oh, you know, I've just had, yeah, I'm a little stressed at work, but then really what they want to ask me about their marriage, or, you know, or, you know, they try to test me, like, oh, can you guess? You know, but I need people to start talking, and I can energetically tap into what's going on. And I guess I just also want to say, like, you know, all of us have intuition. We're just not all tapped into it, you know. And so I definitely like to empower, like,
or trusting it.
Or trusting it. I definitely like to empower people to really hone into their own intuition. But an intuitive is different than having intuition. Very often, an intuitive is someone who is gifted to hear, see, or feel guidance, you could call it, that would inform somebody for their health and healing. And that's something you either have naturally or be trained in, or both. So I just want to differentiate intuition. We're using these words, intuition and intuitive. They're in my opinion, two different things.
Yeah. No, thanks.
Yeah.
That's a great
So, but everyone has intuition. We just have to plug into it. And that's of course helpful, you know, for your health. But it's helpful to for some people to see an intuitive because there's just things they can't figure out. They can't, you know, an ongoing health issue or an ongoing problem that doesn't get solved, let's say, or just at a crossroads in life, don't know what's going on, you know, need some support. And so, you know, everything I do, for example, is geared towards practicality. It sounds very woo-woo, but it's actually, you know, super, super practical and helps people just move forward. And then I like to empower people to, you know, take action within whatever the session is. But you asked me there's a second part of that question.
Well, as you were talking, though, it was reminding me of like a blind spot, right? It's almost like when somebody comes to you, they have their own natural intuition, so they might know, like you said, they might ask a question even though there's something bubbling underneath. So it's almost like you can sense what that blind spot is, and then through questioning and talking with someone, you can start exploring that. So.
It doesn't actually even work logically like that.
Oh.
Like as soon as someone starts, yeah. So an intuitive is a little different. So let's say someone just comes to me, starts talking. I'll actually, or they'll say like my stomach hurts. Suddenly, I'll see the source of that. You know, an image, or I'll hear something, or all the above. Or sometimes it's from a genetic lineage or an ancestor. You know, I'm able to see the root of that. So it's not. I'm not making a logical deduction.
Okay.
I'm not like ruling things out. I just start to see things, and I see energy, and I see other things. So, and then I have ways to double check myself. But most of the time I know I'm accurate because when I describe something to the client, they're like, yes, that's the person, or yes, that was the incident, I have a different toolbox. It's hard to say, not everybody's the same, but I just want to clarify, it's not like a logical deduction of how I figure out what's wrong with somebody. I just know.
Yeah.
So that's what an intuitive is versus intuition. You just know, and it's without any doubt, and it's not with my mental process. Yeah.
No, that's it. Well, it's funny. Like when I was talking about the blind spot, I'm like, oh no, that's how I work with clients. But no, thank you for explaining that, because that kind of shows like a different approach. So mine is I intuitively get a sense of where to go with the logic, but I'm still using logic and deductive reasoning in a sense. So you're saying with intuitive healing, you're not even using those
There's
tools.
no logic. That's what's really interesting.
Wow.
And that's why you have to be super accurate,
Yeah.
But like I said, I know that I'm accurate because I double check with the client.
Yes.
Sometimes I'll see grandpa who's crossed over and I'll describe grandpa and they'll be like, yeah, that's my grandpa.
Okay.
But I would not have fished for the, I just know things. So
Okay.
that's just kind of example that can never be deduced by logic.
Okay. No, that's so that just appears to you, that just comes up for you as you're interacting with.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But it's not like someone's, it's not like I'm looking in a crystal ball. I mean, that's being a little silly, or like, it's not that someone can just show up and be like, tell me what's wrong with me. They have to start talking, and I don't really know exactly how to explain it, but it's just something energetic I'm able to tap into.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. It's almost it's like a conversation, except you're not using logic and reason and what we're used to using in terms of having conversations. It's almost like even with body language, right? They say like when people communicate to each other, so much of that is not just the words they're saying, but their body language. So I'm imagining that this energetic stuff that you're talking about is just another extension of that, or another thing there in terms of how you can have a conversation with somebody. We just don't all access that and have a conversation.
Well, it's almost like just being in tune to like other frequencies, like dogs can hear their frequencies that we can't hear, let's say, and then certain people just have developed senses where they can see other frequencies. It's just everything's energy, but different people have different gifts. So some people see things who are intuitive, some people hear, some people feel, some people have a combination of those things.
So you mentioned practical.
Yeah.
So how do you make this practical for the client?
So, someone says, I don't know what's going on, I'm not feeling well. I'm like, okay. So, you want me to tell you the process?
Yeah.
So basically, I'll let's say it's a health issue. I sit them down and just have them in a relaxed state, and I scan them, and I can see where they have imbalances. I can very often see the source of them, and I can very often recommend something to do. However, I'm also not a doctor, so if I see something where I feel like they need to see somebody for it, I'll let them know. And I'll say, hey, you might want to go see an acupuncturist, you might want to get that checked out. But I can very often and accurately diagnose what's going on in the body, for example.
And when you say scan, that's just your...
Yeah, like an energetic, I tap into what's going on. Very often I'll feel it in my own body. Actually, that's
so you're just sitting across from someone?
Yeah, I have a couple different methods, but that's one thing that could happen where I actually feel it mirrored in my own body, and or I'll feel what's going on for them. And again, I know I'm accurate because they'll tell me, yes, that's what's happening, and they don't tell me about it. And then, but I can see where it's coming from often, and like I said, it may seem, not in the norm for most people to consider this, but I, was working with someone once who had a disease, and I actually saw the source of it was actually something from her, ancestral and genetic lineage. And when I described the person, she confirmed that it was person, it was her grandfather actually. So yeah, in healing, disease doesn't just pop up. There are many different sources of it, and often it's emotional, or from not even yours. It just comes to your DNA, or there are many different sources of it. So it's interesting. So the reason that's practical is like sometimes you go to a doctor and they're like, well, I don't know what's going on. Let's get this X-ray. Let's get that. Let's let's do all these things, and people are just still baffled and they're spending all this money. Something else that I can work with people on through intuition is I specialize in mapping out, either your calendar for the year, or mapping out ideal times for you where you're in harmony with basically the universe, and that's practical for making you more successful. I mean, New Yorkers, for example, they want to be more successful. They want to have the right day to get married. They want to have the right business partner. So a lot of people actually come to me for like super practical things, like, hey, when should I get married? Is this a good business name? So I also, there's energy in everything. So there's energy in names. There's dates are energetic. So I have certain things that I have certain tools that I work with. So that's all practical to help you have better outcomes. So when you work with the unseen world and work for the highest outcome for this material plane, you will always get the best outcome. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're like even things like birthdays and time of year being born. So
yeah, I work with
astrological.
Yes, it comes
well?
from. I do something I call reading the blueprint of the soul, which is something that I learned through Kabbalah, Universal Kabbalah, and it's basically being able to read someone through their birthday. Often I don't need it, but I use it as a double check, and it helps me see certain things. So from that, I can help you like map out your life, or your year, or your month, or see certain trends of what's going on, and it's often very, very accurate. And sometimes it's just trends, but sometimes I can see specific things from the information that opens up. So, a lot of people, they just want more clarity, or they want, people need support. Often it's sort of like the unknown is scary for people. And I think for some people, it finds them comfort just to know certain trends, of what might be happening in their year. And it's different than Western astrology, I have to say. And it's very, very specific to you. Your birthday's like you're the imprint of your soul, actually. And I don't know everything about Western astrology, but just to say that it's different. But it's super practical and super useful. And so, yeah, so even though, when I describe everything, it does sound, it can sound a little esoteric. It all has, a practical, it's all done for practical outcome to really help someone achieve wellness, success, happiness. So that's really my life mission, my service through what gifts I have to really help people be happy.
Yeah, it sounds like that's like a whole other component, right? So there could be the healing component, like where we're at, or like the imbalances of what brought us to that place. So it's like healing that aspect ourselves so that we can stay on a path that serves our higher purpose or our life purpose. So you can also assist somebody in creating the next stage, perhaps, of their life path. Is that something that you would do?
Yeah, that's actually my specialty also. Yeah. I feel like I say that did you want me to talk about how I do that, or just generally?
Either way.
Yeah, well, everyone has a life purpose, I believe, and
only one? No.
And sometimes you just automatically know that. Sometimes it's your job, and then sometimes it can be more than one thing, and sometimes it's your destiny, but it's not your job that you go to every day, or sometimes it's you have a different job for a while until you move into your soul purpose or life purpose or destiny, however you would like to call it. When some people are not clear what that is, that's something I help them with. And even when you are clear, sometimes getting from where you are now to living full out in your life purpose is a process, And like you said, you definitely have to be in good health, to do that. You have to be in good balance to really, like having your inner game and your outer game in alignment. I like that word, alignment. So that's one of my specialties too, helping people stay in alignment, with the different tools that I have. It's a lot, So there's the coaching component too, where, keeping people alignment and goals, but we also work with that from a spiritual standpoint, and not just like from like looking at a calendar or writing like, this is what goal you have to do today. I am able to see what kind of person the person is, and what their sort of, let's say, what their strengths and weaknesses are by looking at their birth date. And then from there, helping them build to their life purpose or continue with their life purpose by seeing what remedies we can make for their weaknesses and how to strengthen their strengths. So some of that's actually offering cures, and some of that is just talking about it so that they understand and can do it themselves. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you do engage in goal setting.
Yeah.
And I forget if I read it on your website or we talked about it, like heart-centered. Like, how do you get that spirituality component or that heart-centered component into the goal-setting process? Do you find that the people that you attract naturally do that, come from that place, or is there a technique that you use to get people a little bit out of that outcome orientation or logical orientation and bring them into that heart-centered space?
I have a couple techniques. First of all, I stay in my heart, and actually that's also the seat of intuition also, that I can sense what someone's feeling. So, a lot of times we can get disconnected, we get in our heads, and we walk around, we're thinking too much. So I definitely like to get them working into their heart and feeling their heart as much as they can. And that's how so you can be more connected about what you want. So really your heart is where you're giving birth to really what you love. And what you love will give birth to your life purpose, or it's something you already love. But if you're looking for your life purpose, it's absolutely necessary to tune into your heart. Because it's really not something mental. Often life purpose is not logical, and sometimes it's a surprise for some people, or sometimes someone will be a banker and they'll be a little embarrassed that they actually want to be an artist, so sometimes there's that little, I want to say disconnect, but it might not be like what your ego wants, or but your heart and your soul, if you will, know what your life purpose is, or maybe you already know, maybe it's more integrated than that. People are at different steps along the way, but absolutely. So I guess to answer your question a little bit further, what I like to do is stay in my heart when I'm with somebody and hold that space, and that makes them feel safe, because someone could feel if you're compassionate and authentic, and even I guess warmth would be a part of it, and sincere about really wanting to help them. So then people automatically feel relaxed when they're with you, and that helps them go into their heart. We probably all experience this when you're talking to someone. Whether you know them or not, like you just end up mirroring them somehow. If they're acting a little kooky, you get a little more kooky, or some people are easier to talk. You start feeling it. So like, if I'm more relaxed in my heart, my client or whoever I'm talking to is going to feel that way too, and that's going to give them more access. And then then I have also healing tools and healing technologies, if you will, to help them shift into that place if they're not there at that moment. For example, it's not about talking them into it. It's there are different ways to shift, and this might be a whole other conversation, but different things could be blocking you from feeling things, for example. And so whenever I see someone, I get to the bottom of what's going on.
Yeah. So it could be a specific thing of helping somebody with a clear blockage that you're noticing, or it could just be some of these general techniques that you're mentioning in terms of just having somebody access what's already there. They're just not accessing it on a regular basis. So we're going to finish up soon. So is there like a practical tip that you could share with people that they can do so that they could start tapping into that space, and so that like right when they do see a healer, that they're already more accessible to that?
You mean they're more open to seeing?
So whatever someone's blockage is, right? We all have something or imbalance. Like, what's something that a person can do in their own space before meeting with a healer, where they can connect more with heart-centered and spirituality, so that they can start opening those avenues?
Well, I think the main thing that people can do, and especially New Yorkers, is just to get quiet. Doesn't mean you have to like meditate and be like, oh, you can, just set some intentions, set some intentions for yourself just to find out what's going on for you. And morning and night are fantastic times just to be quiet. You can meditate, or you just even be quiet. because what will start to come up is like thoughts and feelings, and then you can take your journal and write down what it is that you want to work through right now, or what phase. Very often you kind of know what's going on. You might not see the whole picture, but people sometimes have a way of like not wanting to see it, or they get numbed out, or they don't know what the whole picture is, or it's a blind spot. But very often you do have an inkling, or sometimes even more than an inkling, and definitely writing it down brings it more into clarity of something you might want to work on with a healer, or in general. But getting quiet is the main thing, because when you're always busy and walking around, you're just not as in tune with yourself. So I like to wake up in the day and have a lot of quiet time, and also at night, just so I stayed centered. So I would just say anyone wanting to just improve your life and be more intuitive is find a way to center yourself, and be present to your own self and your feelings and your body.
Yeah, and some people, I know, like with meditation, right? They hear "be quiet" and meditation, and they think it's like complete lack of any thought or any. And for some people, that's not going to happen initially, or that doesn't happen for a while. So then you can do like affirmations or something, like just get into a zone, or even breathing, right? So
yeah, just breathe. Yeah, I think there's a lot of things you can do. I think just stopping, for 20 minutes in the morning or at night, like when you first wake up, maybe take out your diary and just have some quiet time, have a cup of tea, or sit and meditate, whatever you want to do. But, I would not advise turning on the TV, getting on the internet right away, because the morning and the night is when your subconscious mind is, let's say, most open or malleable, so you're going to have important insights. And it's also how you can, this is again a whole other conversation, manifest your day into being, or manifest the next day into being, or use like law of attraction to kind of dream your world into being. But it's a very fertile, important time, so give that time to yourself. And it's almost like taking like a vitamin,
No, that's a great point. So to access that and get those insights, so that's something that all of us could do to tap into our own intuition and what we believe is going to be our life path and life purpose. So that's awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to rewatch this several times because even though I'm here, I think these types of concepts take a little while to settle in. Mm-hmm. But I definitely see that bigger picture, or I'm aware of that bigger picture, and it's very exciting. It's especially in terms of connecting with other practitioners and healers that work in that field more. It's someone else's toolbox that you can really take advantage of and learn more about yourself through that process. So thank you so much for sharing about your process. And yes, I know there were a couple of times where you said that you could have talked more, so maybe in the future we'll have a part 2 with Jeanny. And but for now, we will end this lovely discussion and continue the discussion online. If anyone has any questions or wants to reach out to either me or Jeanny, I'll be posting her information, and you can go to her website, Soulstar Alchemy.
Soulstarheal.com.
Oh.
But that's the actual website name, but
okay,
my
great.
business is Soulstar Alchemy.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Jeanny. Thank you everybody for watching.
Thanks,
and
everyone.
get your intuition on.
Bye. Thank you.